Big Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul. And here we are, Epi 147.
Wow.
Can you believe that? 147.
147.
Well, look who's in first.
Laura May.
Laura's here tonight.
3,501 points.
Happy
35
Easter.
We're adding 1 point now.
Well, because she was, right on
Yeah.
8 o'clock on the nose, on the button.
That's special for Easter. That's the Easter point.
Yeah, it's Easter point,
The
Laura.
Easter point.
Yeah.
And so have you calculated the points yet or no? You don't think we've forgotten that, have you?
Well, what else did you do on your days off?
William Kirkland. How are you, my friend? 2,500 points for you. Sir Marvin, 1,000 points. Or is that 15? I can't remember.
1,500. I
It's
think.
1,500 points, Marvin. Hello.
Okay, if we can't count them and keep score, guys, you guys have to.
Well, Laura was going to do a spreadsheet and
Mhm.
tally it all and all type of jazz.
Well, I'm curious if Laura's here tonight. Does that mean you didn't make it to the into the karaoke, further in the karaoke competition?
Oh, good question, Laura. We need to
Yeah,
know.
how does that work, Laura?
What's the
'Cause
deal, dude?
I don't know. I think you have to do it. Laura, correct me if I'm wrong. You got to do it 3 separate times or something like that. I don't know. You know better than I do. I don't know.
Hello, Nicole. Nicole and her epic meals. Nicole, how are you?
Very tired, long day of work. William Kirkland says, I did not work today. Cliff, you didn't work today.
Well, not technically, no.
Bill, you did work today.
I did work today,
Mhm.
yes, but again, it's not that it's overly, tiring. You work from home, so
My
Works
wife
out not
certainly put in a full day. My goodness me.
wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I bet you she was at the computer at 7 bells this morning, and I don't think she was off the computer when I left.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah, one seriously crazy day for her.
for sure. Laura says, so you need to compete 2 times at the same venue, but I have until May 2nd, I believe, to qualify for city finals.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I because I don't know how that works.
No competition tonight. And Marvin said he worked today, but only half the places he went were open.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Well, easy day for you, Marv.
It's called a 50% day.
That's a 50% day. With probably Marv, correct me if I'm wrong. Would you get paid time and a half then today? Despite the fact that only 50% of your places were open, I would assume you get time and a half. Would you not, guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't know either.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Nicole says, Laura, you've got this. So all the comments are coming in. How was your guys' week, Paul?
Week was good. Week was busy. Weekend was busy. Easter. We do a traditional brunch with the whole family, and the Easter Bunny successfully came and went, and yeah, it was really good. Standard week, busy and good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cliff?
Nada to report.
Yeah, right.
It was a really good. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
That's boring.
It was. Well, it wasn't. But I just have nothing to report.
Yeah. It was a week.
I didn't say I didn't do anything. I didn't say it wasn't interesting. I didn't say I didn't have quite a good weekend. But I have nothing to report. See, there's a big difference there. Yeah, because this is probably not the right analogy, but sometimes it's not good to kiss and tell.
Well, then we'll leave it at that.
Like I said, it's probably not the right analogy.
There will be no kissing
That will be
tonight.
no
kissing and telling.
Not that
We're
back
close.
together.
We ain't that close.
No kissing and telling here tonight. Nicole, sadly, some businesses counted today as a holiday. However, not all businesses will pay stat pay if they are open. Is today actually an official stat holiday?
I don't know. That's
I
a good
think
question.
Friday is the stat.
Friday's the stat. I didn't
Yeah.
think today was actual stat, but some businesses do take it as an extra day.
Correct. I
Right.
think that's.
I think that's the case.
Oh, Bill,
Yes.
where's the cookies?
Sorry, I forgot the cookies.
Bill, no
Yeah.
cookies.
Forgot the cookies.
Unbelievable.
Hey, we're getting used to this. Hey,
I was getting used to the cookies. Yes.
No green screen today.
Yeah.
So change that out, and next week we're going to adjust camera a little bit. But we're getting things together.
Getting
here.
things together.
Yeah.
And Bill's paraphernalia back there. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's got really good. I like that backdrop. Bill.
Yeah. Got old microphone back there, and film reel, and
Yeah.
another like you can't see. There's
And
a
there's a tree growing on the wall. I kind of like that.
little tree growing on the wall.
You
or
get some
something
soil
there
behind
Love
it.
it. I think it's great.
as well.
So this is we're technically in your, I guess, your arts and crafts room, are we not?
It's our art, we call it our art studio. So yeah, we have this section here where we're doing Podlie from, and I have another section over there where I do the radio broadcast from, which you can't see,
Yeah.
but we also use this for working in and doing stuff.
Cool,
as well.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Laura says I still need to look up why Good Friday is the stat and not Mondays.
Yeah.
I think it's a good question. I don't know why it was taken that way.
I don't know. Oh well. Hey, who cares?
Well,
we got days off.
I think partly because Easter would change, right? I mean, the day or whatever, I guess. So maybe Friday because it's always, the beginning of a weekend. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe Monday isn't a stat because they count the August stat.
Yeah. It has to do with math, guys. That's why I don't know.
Yeah,
it actually does. The amount of stats that you have in a year, according to the government. Right. Yeah. Yep. I think that's how it works.
That's my bloody phone.
That's your phone. And Laura says, I think it had to do when Christ died.
Well, we kind of had no control over that, Laura.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either.
Yeah.
So, yeah. None of us were there, Laura, just to clarify.
But I think you're right, though. But yeah, I don't know why the Good Friday got chosen versus the Monday. Perhaps Good Friday is more significant than Monday because, after all, Easter. Yeah, I don't know, because it's Sunday, right? Easter Sunday, I guess.
Well, but it's still. So why do they call today Easter Monday? Like everything's done. So according to religion, Christ died on the Good Friday. Christ is risen on Easter Sunday. What happens the next day? What happens Monday that today is Easter Monday?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Why don't they call it? Maybe somebody can Google that. That's watching here tonight.
I'm Catholic and I don't know.
Why is it?
I don't know.
You just not practiced enough.
Well, you know what? I did practice yesterday. We did go to church.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Is that like an annual thing for you guys?
It is. Well, when I was a kid, we used to go every single Sunday. I was, this, that, and the other thing. And then, I mean, COVID and my kids are baptized and they have their first reconciliation, first communion and stuff like that. But COVID just kind of kiboshed it for us.
Yeah.
So we were back yesterday for the first time in years.
Oh,
and
nice.
and kids, my folks, and kids want to keep going, which I think is great. So yeah,
nice.
Yep. So
Matt, it's community, right?
It's community.
It's more than the sum of its parts really is remarkable, right? I mean, because there's the religion, there's the services, there's the actual worship, there's the actual reason to be there, and so on and so forth. But then there's the community, and there's the camaraderie between the kids, and there's the friendships, and there's just a great amount of positives.
So
for families to go to church. Right?
Cliff, here's the thing: I go to church because A, I believe, and B, it makes me feel good. Cliff, it makes me feel good.
Yeah. And I like, it can't be understated what a great community thing it is, and what a great friendship building thing it is for the children, and so on and so forth. Because it's not school; it's outside of school.
Yeah.
It's something that is enjoyable and family time and all that type of jazz, right? So, I don't know too many church-going people that are constantly depressed.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
I really
It's
don't.
true.
I simply don't. Right.
Yeah. So I like it because I like the community to your point, and it makes me feel good, and I am a true believer. I am a believer.
Cool.
I grew up in the Catholic religion and Catholic school and all, and I'm a believer. I mean, too much shit has happened in my life I should be dead 15 times over, boys. I really should. So something's amiss, if you know what I mean.
So there was some intervention in your
Something's
opinion.
amiss, if you know what I mean. There's some sort of intervention, I think. Yeah.
And Nicole's Epic Meals, Nicole says community is important. Absolutely, Nicole. And I think, in many ways we're missing that particular aspect of let's take all the facets of religion when it comes to God and when it comes to all these things, and just boil it down for just a moment for family and for friends and for community and what it does for the community and the family. I think that has gone by the wayside, and that going of the wayside has really had a serious impact on our society.
Mhm.
So, and I can't agree with you enough about this, Cliff. If you think about it this way, guys, you don't have to believe in the religion of Christ, and you don't have to believe in the religion of the apostles. Just believe in the religion of family. Just believe in the religion of community. Just believe in the religion of kindness.
Yeah.
Just believe in that. You
Yeah,
know?
and I mean, there's every denomination, there's every kind of
There
religion.
is.
I mean, if you're a Hindu, you go to temple. If you go to,
Yep.
if you're a Muslim, you go to mosque. Whatever the case may be. For the purpose of this particular comment, and for the purpose of discussing community and what it means to be part of something greater than yourself. At this point, when we're talking in terms of that, really, temple, Hinduism, Islam, Baha'i faith, it boils down to your particular belief. But as far as community goes, as far as something greater than our own selves and being a part of that, I think it's very important, and I think that's what we're missing.
Yeah, and I know they have a pretty strong Baha'i community out here.
Oh, is that right? In Sherwood
In
Park?
Strathcona County?
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Really?
right? Yeah.
So can I open up a can here for a second since we're on the topic?
Can I drink it?
I'm gonna drink that
Okay.
water.
Well, listen, if you talk about a can of worms, there's one worm at the bottom of a tequila bottle. So
Yes,
automatically,
there
when you say, "Can I open up a can?" I think one worm. I think I think tequila, and then I think, gee, how nice a drink would be, right?
I have not gone
Sorry,
to the
Polly.
bottom of a
Yeah.
mezcal or
Not-
tequila bottle.
And
Not-
we don't have anything here tonight.
That's right. Not derailing you, Polly. Continue.
So can we all at least agree? I don't care if you are Christian, if you are of the Hindu faith, if you are of the Buddhist faith. Can we all agree that there is something higher than ourselves out there? Yes or no?
Good question.
Yes or no? That's my
I
question.
think it's a good question, for sure.
What do y'all think?
What do y'all
What
think?
do y'all think? Can we all agree that there is something at least, be it astrological, be it, well, I don't know. I don't know. I have my beliefs, and Cliff and Bill, they have their beliefs. You guys have your beliefs, and I firmly believe that there is absolutely something higher than ourselves out there. I don't know what that is. I have my beliefs.
So we're not the end all be all pinnacle of existence then?
We're not the only planet in existence with humans on. No, yeah, I think everybody has their specific beliefs and thinks that definitely there's a higher power of some type. And everybody probably has different idea of what that might be. Laura says, if you watch and love Star Wars, then you believe in the power of the universe.
Darling, I
That's-
believe in the power of the Jedi.
That's quite the stretch, Laura, in many ways.
Yeah.
But I tell you, maybe I'll follow up with Polly's question then, and say this: there's a lot of words that are used. I don't know if they're euphemistically or whatever the case may be. People don't say God anymore because that's taboo for some reason, but they say the universe looks after you. Okay, well, is that a euphemism for God then? Is it because you don't want to say God, so then you say the universe?
Nice touch.
Right? No, because a lot of people say that, right? They say, well, the universe, you ask the universe and the universe will look after you. From what I know personally, the universe is a gargantuan mass of unfathomable matter. And that matter is infinite and it's unfathomable to us. In dark matter, light matter, rocks, just unfathomable matter and weight. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, though, it is inanimate. It's animate only based on the rules of the universe, based on the physical rules of the universe, which is gravity. It's animated by those rules. But in and of itself, the matter is not animate. It is inanimate. But yet people often say the universe as though the universe is a living, breathing entity that can intervene on our behalf.
I want to throw something out into the universe. You ever heard that?
Oh, yeah.
I want to throw something out into the universe.
For sure.
I don't know. I'm with you, Marv. I believe in the Trinity. I believe in the Trinity. I do believe in. Holy cow!
That's Hinduism.
Holy cow!
That's what
Holy
he said.
cow.
I believe in Hinduism.
Holy cow. Holy Brahma.
So,
Don't
not
have
make,
a cow. Paul.
not
Holy
making,
Brahma.
not making light of anything,
don't have a
folks.
cow.
That's just I believe me. I grew up. I grew up with that religion right around me. So please don't. That's not offensive in any
No,
way. It's just
no.
having some fun with it. Yeah. But I tell you that the Hindu religion is a beautiful religion.
Mhm.
I spent much of my life. I think I might have mentioned this on a podcast before too. Where I grew up, we had just about every type of religion in close proximity in our neighborhood.
Nice.
And it was remarkable. We were the only people that are raised Christian, and
Yeah.
the same could be said for some of the Islamic people there, and the same could be said for some of the Hindu people there. It was this hodgepodge of community, and it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we got it, like, if we misbehaved, we had too many eyes and too many parents on us. You know what I mean? Because they were all our parents. They were all our parents.
Everybody was watching.
Yeah.
Going back to Laura's comment here,
Mhm.
which I had up, she says, I think it is because there is so many religions, therefore the universe above, God connects us all.
Yeah, well, and you know what, Laura, that's somewhat a reasonable thing. However, every religion has the God, right?
Yes.
And it has the Godhead of
Mhm.
some kind. So
It's
the fact that we
incantation of God. Yeah.
the fact that we changed it to the word universe doesn't diminish that in my mind, nor does it enhance it. I'm just curious why
Why it went that route.
it went that route, right? Why, because a mass of rocks and a mass of cold, hard ice
Yeah.
floating in space, inanimate as it is, other than animated by the rules of the universe.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That to me doesn't signify a God.
So
But yet somehow the term universe has become synonymous with God. And even though people who say they're anti-religious and anti-everything, they still use the word universe as though in terms of something greater.
really interesting, Cliff. You touched on the fact that God equates. Can I use the word equate? Equates to the universe. Can I say that? Is that kind of?
Yeah, and that's what Laura mentioned.
That's
too.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that God kind of equates to the universe, and God equates to matter, and I've always been of the opinion, like it or not, find it funny or not, that God is sentient.
Well, it has
There's God that there is something, someone, some sentience out there, that it's not just the universe all encompassing, that there is a primordial something that is God.
And that's precisely what I'm saying, right, Paul? The universe is a mass of inert and inanimate matter, not inert, sorry, inanimate matter,
Mhm.
and it's animated only by the physical rules of the universe that currently exist, right?
Right.
So in my mind, when people equate the universe to God or God to the universe, I think that's in so many ways, I don't know about errant, but certainly disingenuous, right? Because in terms of talking about the universe intervening on your behalf, well, it can't. It's an inanimate.
It's an inanimate.
It's an inanimate.
It's
If
a
you
thing.
if you
It's a
take it as a whole,
Yeah,
it's an inanimate object, albeit an unfathomably large object.
Yeah.
But if you take it as a whole, it's an inanimate object animated only by the rules of the universe.
Right.
Right. So in terms of that, the equating of God to the universe and vice versa, I don't find that to be a reasonable equation.
Yeah. No. And William, sorry, Paul.
I love what William says
makes
here.
an interesting comment. If
Yeah.
I get asked if I believe in God, I'll always say which one.
So true. So true. Your God, Cliff, is very different than my God. But be it Buddhist or Christian, be it
but
Islam and Taoist, be it,
sure. Can I just address that question though?
I love that.
So if William says, if I ask you, William, if you believe in God, and you ask me which one, why don't you just tell me what God you believe in instead of asking me which one?
That's true. I guess you could say, yeah. Why are you not saying which one you believe in?
Yeah. So
for it?
yeah. So if I say to you, do you believe in God? Why don't you just answer me that I don't believe in God, or I do believe in God? And if I ask you which one, then we can have a discussion. Otherwise, you can just answer the question. I'm really curious when people ask that question, which one? I'm like, well, I don't know. Which one do you believe in?
Yeah.
I just asked you if you believe in God. And if you ask me which one, why are you asking me which one I think you believe in?
Yeah.
Why don't you
Right,
tell
good-
me what
yeah.
you believe
Are
in?
you going to say to Cliff?
Good call.
You say which one, and Cliff says, "Well, I believe in this God." You say,
Right.
well, that's one. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's the one I believe in.
Yeah.
So why did you ask me?
Yeah, so I don't understand that question,
Yeah.
and I hear it a lot, William, and that's not a knock. I don't mean it by that. I just mean,
No, and he says fair point, Cliff.
I
He
just
says
mean
fair
to
point.
yeah, I just mean
And
to
it
open
is.
up a discussion. You know me, William. I think you know me by now. When I push back a little bit and whatnot, what I'm normally doing is I'm trying to educate myself, and I'm trying to figure out different avenues of educating myself and having that discussion. So when I say things like that, it is a question. It's not a
It's not a knock.
Yeah, it's not a knock.
And
It's a
Nicole says
question.
something interesting. She says, "I feel like saying God or having God with different names is the same as Santa Claus
Yep.
has 1,000 different names," which is true
Yeah.
as well.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Santa Claus,
Very
in Europe
true. Good
is not
analogy.
Santa Claus as it is in Canada or whatever, right?
And you know what? Let's boil it down just a smidgen, you guys. When we're talking about the myriad religions out there, if you actually start to study these religions, and especially let's say the predominant religions that have endured through time immemorial. There's Christianity, and then Islam came 7,000 years, 6,000 some years after Christianity was quote unquote born, but they're both rooted 4,000 years earlier in Abraham, right? So consequently, what happens here is, pardon the lengthy runaround, but partly what happens is the messenger becomes somebody different, and then that becomes the religion. But ultimately, who these religions worship is a god,
Right.
and it is a god at,
Yeah.
So in other words, like if you look at Islam and Christianity, let's say, Allah is God and God is Allah, right? But how we revere these entities are different because of the messenger, right? But if you go to Abraham, we are descended from Abraham, right?
Correct.
So in terms of if you keep on going backwards, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, somebody could educate me on this, but if you keep on going backwards, you find out that it is still a single being that is being worshipped. It's the messaging
It's
and how
8,000 years of telephone is
and
what
how
it
it
is.
came exactly, and how it came down to us.
Yep.
Right. So let's say the Jews, they don't believe in Jesus Christ. They don't believe as Christ is the Messiah, but Christians do. But the God is the same. Jehovah is the same.
Same. Yeah.
Right. So I hope that makes sense. But I think it's fascinating. I think it's so fascinating. I did comparative religious studies when I was young, and it's fantastic. It is so fascinating where we are and what we have an infinite amount of discussion we can have when it comes to this subject.
And I love it. I love it. So
Yeah.
I was surrounded by the Buddhist and the Taoist religion when I was in China, and I got to tell you guys, I heard this somewhere. I don't know if it was in China when I was there. I don't know if it was in a book that I read in China. I don't know if it was on National Geographic, but I just heard this somewhere, and it's been an earworm for me. Somebody said, and I read somewhere, I heard somewhere, that Buddhism is and this is a quote, is the most honest religion.
Okay, but
How can you determine that, though?
Well, okay, and that's what I kind of am. And I've heard it years ago. It's been confusing the hell out of me.
Podlie, can I say something, Podlie?
Please, yeah.
Buddhism is not actually a religion.
Okay,
It's a philosophy.
Go with that.
Buddhism is a philosophy.
That is true.
It is true. It is true. So, and I've been trying to figure this out for years and years and years and years and years. Why are they saying that? Where's the root of that idea from? Maybe our religion, it is religion. It's rooted in philosophy. 100%.
All religion is rooted in philosophy.
100% it is. 100% it is. So we've got to go back. We've got to dissect and get past the religion, and we have to go to mythology, and we have to go to philosophy, and we have to go to that. It's a brain melt for me, is what it is.
I love it though. I love it though.
I
Like
love
the
it too.
ancient when you go back in Buddhism, and a lot of people think Buddhism is Chinese, right? It's not. It's Indian, right? Sorry,
It is.
it's Buddha is Indian, right? So, but if you go back, it's amazing what a philosophy is. It's a remarkable philosophy. It's not a religion, but it's a remarkable philosophy.
Taoism,
Yeah, Taoism.
spelled Taoism pronounced with a D, spelled with a T, is Chinese.
That's right.
Yeah, James has joined us. Hello there, James.
Hey, James.
Hey, buddy.
Buddhism encourages you to question, unlike many other religions.
Pretty much every religion encourages you to question, James. Pretty much absolutely every single religion encourages you to question. And I don't know why people think that's not the case.
And right on cue, Laura.
I was waiting for that.
And right on cue.
I was waiting for her.
Laura.
Right on cue, Laura.
Yeah, good timing. Laura. This was not our topic. We just kind of jumped into it.
I love it.
We were talking earlier this week offline as Podlies, just some ideas about how we we're moving forth with the podcast and things like that. And I had mentioned kind of our tagline. I think when we first started was the Podlie podcast was a show about nothing, but then the tagline is more like it's a show about nothing, but it's a show about everything.
That's right.
So here we are, covering talking about religion, which wasn't our topic tonight, but it's an interesting topic to kind of get into.
I think it's apt the weekend that we just had.
Now she's throwing the time at you.
I know. Laura's our producer.
I was just gonna say Laura's the producer. Just gonna say that.
Throwing times and stuff at us. Hey, Laura, we're pretty loosey goosey here, as you probably know. Before we get to our topic, I just want to get to Marvin. So Marvin says, I don't believe in Christianity as a church. I believe it as I see it in people. That does not mean I follow someone that says they are Christian, but I do not follow the good in people. But I do follow the good in people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, good.
Love it.
Point, Marvin.
Love it.
For sure. So yeah, we do have a topic today, and that is the topic. Technology is always changing and growing. Is it a good thing, or is it becoming a hindrance to living a normal life?
Define normal life.
That's what our topic was.
Yeah, it's a good question, Podlie.
Define normal life.
Yeah, what would you class as a normal life? And so that's mainly the topic, throwing that out there. Of course, I've worked in technology, as everybody knows, for over 30 years and still do, and see everything that is coming and changing and all of the changes that have happened throughout the years.
Okay, so then let's defer to you. What do you think?
Well, again, because I have worked in technology, I'm a big proponent of all types of technology. We've talked electric cars, etc. We've talked Elon Musk and SpaceX and those types of technologies. We've talked flying cars, and I think we'll probably get into more of that down the road. But we've talked all of those types of things. Simple technologies, from things that I've seen, from the increase, video walls to curved video walls to, the LED technology compared to the LCD technology, hologram technology, which we have now. My company also represents, and this might be something that might put a bug in people's ears in that they think that maybe this affects normal life. So we also represent a company that has a software that they use with cameras. So for, say, a big retail chain, for instance, wants to know their demographics, who's coming in and out. So by using the camera, it automatically picks out that person's face, determines that they're male, determines what their age is. All those statistics are then sent back to the head of the company, and then go back and say, okay, so we're 60% male in the store in the age group of 30 to 45, and we're 40% female in the age group of 30 to 45. Right. So and that's quite the technology to watch, and we show it. It was actually at the show you were at. I don't know if you saw it there, Cliff. But
yeah, I caught a little bit of it.
It was there. So you walk in, it automatically picks you up, and it identifies you as male, identifies your age, approximately, of course.
Yeah.
And so
I know they were pretty accurate with the age.
Well, yeah. So
they're pretty accurate.
30.
So having said that, something like that could be a hindrance to some people. I know there are some people who find that
invasive.
I can say that Cliff, you were telling me a story. We were talking about golf a while back, and you were telling me the story being on the golf course in a golf cart, which you don't always use, and you happened to hit one of those shots that left the fairway.
That never happens, but it happened one time.
And it just happened to go toward the other fairway or wherever it's going.
Right.
So you were heading over there in the golf cart. And all of a sudden the golf cart slams
to a break,
you couldn't go anywhere.
That's right.
And that's because you have these basically invisible electric fences. That
Yeah, it's called
that-
geofencing,
yeah,
right?
it's geofencing,
Yeah.
and it stops the golf cart, and that's to say stop you from driving all over the
Yeah.
place in the golf carts,
Yeah.
right?
And
They
it-
do it in shopping malls now.
Shopping
Shopping
malls.
carts,
Oh, yeah.
same thing. They're doing that with
Yeah, the
geofencing with
shopping cart
carts.
can go out.
Mm.
And what's next? I mean, just to be on that same thread, the very next thing is your personal vehicle,
Mhm,
because your personal vehicle is going to be tethered to the satellites as well,
mhm.
and it's going to be black box technology. You're not going to be able to do anything about it. And so, if at any given time the authorities decide
Mhm.
that you can't go beyond this point, well, then your vehicle will not go beyond that point.
Where were those things when my kids were 1 and 2 years old and we were in the shopping center?
They're
Wow.
called parents.
Wow. Oh, is that what I was supposed to do?
Yeah, yeah.
No, but just imagine when and hey, it's fine if you happen to be on the side, on the same side and thinking the same way as the people who are doing that to you. But what if you will not? What if they outlawed, I don't know, pick something that you like? What if they outlawed cookies, Paul? And every time you reach for the cookie jar,
Well, they
Your hand
apparently
got shocked.
they apparently outlawed cookies here where I am right now because I ain't seeing none in front of me.
But see, that's funny in that we talk. Oh, look at the clock. Oh, before I go to my point, I just saw Nicole. Nicole's
Oh, they're
jumping in
keeping
now.
And
us
Nicole's got on it now.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Right on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the middle of the podcast.
Slightly over the middle of the podcast.
Slightly over the bloody middle of the podcast. Then,
But you know, again, like I say, because I work in technology, and I do see some things that are coming through that I'm involved in,
Mhm.
in regards to representation, etc., that people may class as invasive types of
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that technology is something that we need as a human race and as a planet to grow. I also think it's obviously something that we need so that when this planet is no longer here or no longer viable, that we can get to other places to continue
that's right.
this race.
Continue our
And
species,
none of
yeah.
us sitting at this table or on this podcast may be here any longer at that point in a physical
In a
being.
physical form, yeah.
But you know, I look at that, and I read actually a comment today by somebody who's upset with the new facial recognition software they're using, I believe, at Madison Square Gardens in New York. So they're using it in such a way now that they're watching, and it will literally pick out, say, lawyers, etc., and they say that lawyer can't come in because he's done something or
'Cause
whatever.
yeah.
So they're literally blocking people
Oh boy.
from coming in
Yeah.
to see a game or whatever, an event, because the camera picks that person up right away
It's
and
just
said,
the beginning.
that's so and so. He's done this. He's not in.
It's a social
He's not
credit
allowed
system.
in.
It's a social
So-
credit system.
So that stuff for me.
So is that the
pushing-
Fourth Reich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Oh man, did I say that out loud?
if you go back to some podcast like a year ago, I was trying to get people interested in understanding the social credit system that is currently the system in China,
China.
and it's coming. It's here.
Mhm.
It's already here, right? Like you said, Bill. If they're visually saying, "Hey, this is you," and you don't qualify for what they consider a good human being,
Mhm.
then your rights are curbed.
They can stop.
Right, and that's coming. It's in full swing in China, and it's going to be in full swing here very shortly.
I like Leslie Ann's comment. Hello, Leslie Ann.
Hello, Leslie Ann.
I expect flat earthers
waiting.
would find geofencing convenient to maintain calculation on the Earth plane. Yeah, boy, that sure saved a lot of people that just dropped right off the edge.
Where the hell they go?
Not anymore. Not anymore with geofencing.
Hey, that would be the, you know what? That would be a geofencing technology that I would be on board with.
Yeah, 'cause if you had a few drinks, and by the way, don't hydrate with whiskey, Leslie Ann, that would keep you falling off the edge.
Yeah, Leslie Ann, don't quench your thirst with whiskey.
You know, Marvin says, imagine if technology was accessible to all, where would mankind be, barring wars of technology, that is. So again, technology in that type of application. So let's talk nuclear weapons, etc. It has changed.
Yeah, but imagine if that was accessible to all.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm just going to go down to the store and buy myself a nuclear
My
missile.
divorce would have been a lot rougher It would have been a lot rougher.
What are you shooting up for July 1st for the fireworks? Well, I got a nuclear missile.
I got a missile I'm shooting at.
down at Bob's store down in the corner.
You know,
Fireworks and nuclear missiles.
Marvin, I totally derailed your point, and I'm sorry, but it was funny. But I definitely know what you mean, my friend. I know exactly what you mean. So I derailed your point only in common, only for comedic reasons.
Apparently, Leslie Ann stopped drinking the hard stuff now. She only quenches her thirst with wine.
I think Leslie Ann deserves at least 500 points for the flat earth. For the flat earth comment. That's the funniest thing I've heard, Leslie.
Yeah, that's definitely a 500 pointer, right?
That's
there.
a 500 pointer right there. Oh man.
Oh,
Deal venting with the flat earthers. That's just so funny. He just killed me. I can see a picture in my head. Buddy walking toward the end of the earth. And all of a sudden, hey dude, you're gonna fall off the edge, buddy.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not. There's fencing here.
It's geofenced.
Watch this. Bounces off. shoots back 10 feet.
Shoots back 10 feet. Oh my Lord, that's great. That was awesome.
Marvin says one of the thoughts of why we cannot prove that aliens from other worlds exist is because they annihilate themselves before they can travel to the stars. Well,
they annihilate themselves, you mean? I think that's what he means.
That's what he means. They annihilate themselves, but
probably a typo there.
Yeah. Nicole, Cliff is missing his mark. Laura says.
Marvin, that's probably the case, though, right? Because maybe who knows what we will end up doing to ourselves traveling to Mars, right? We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe
there's tests undergoing right now, like what happens physically to the body. Are you getting
no? But Marvin's talking
exercise
about Marvin's talking about annihilating the whole species
altogether. Yeah, altogether.
right? And that's a distinct possibility, Marvin, because every society, let's face it, right? Every society that reaches at to a certain level, things start to degrade after a while, right? I mean, we're at the stage right now where democracy is no longer viable. Is okay. Let me tell you, I got to qualify that. Where democracy,
yes, you do.
where democracy is being fought against because people take democracy for granted. People take freedom for granted, and they blame democracy for it, which is really strange. And so democracy has run its course in the Western world, and that's why we have systems in place currently that is actually driving us into more of a controlled environment. Right. So that is more of that's more a feature or a function of becoming the pinnacle of society. So many societies in the past, over the decades, over the centuries, over the eons, as they got to be the powers, sooner or later they destroyed themselves and annihilated themselves. The Roman Empire did it. The Mughals of India did it. You name it. The Egyptians did it. The Aztecs did it. So we're not in any way unique.
Nope.
As we increase and reach a certain level of whatever you want to call it in our society, well, guess what, Marvin? I'm with you. I think we're going to annihilate this society as a whole. And maybe 1,000 years from now, they're talking about, they were kind of like the Aztecs. They did this and they did that. Meanwhile, we're no longer.
We'll become the old Earth.
Yeah.
They'll look back and say, remember what happened on the old Earth?
Yeah, we'll become one of the 13 colonies.
Yes.
De-evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's crash evolution, I think.
So I've kind of thrown in, we talked a little bit about it, but like, Cliff, what is your thought on technology? Is it a growth, or we've talked about some technologies, obviously, that are what could be classed as hindrance.
As hindrance, yeah.
For sure. And I agree with that, even though, like I said, there's some that I'm involved in that I represent that people would feel that way. I'm sure they would, right?
But the thing is, Bill, what it boils down to, and it's almost bigger. It's a bigger subject than technology, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's beyond that word.
Yes. So let's just go back one step for me to illustrate my point. A lot of people really, really rag on religion because they say, look at all the atrocities that have happened in the name of religion. I hate to break it to anybody. It's not the religion to blame. It's the people, who use religion as some sort of a
Well,
an
it's
enableizer,
misinterpretation.
as an enableizer to go and do whatever the hell garbage they want to do.
Yep.
Well, it's the same thing with technology, and believe it or not, we can actually say technology is a religion, because people do worship technology. I mean, they worship at the altar of their phones 24/7. So it is a religion in many ways. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's religion or technology. Nefarious people are going to use it for nefarious activities. So it doesn't matter if the technology is good or bad. Bad people will find a way to use anything in a bad way.
Right.
So the thing is, when it comes to our technologies, a phone is an amazing thing. I cannot believe the amount of information I have at my fingertips. And as a person who is basically starved for information, but good information, like educational information, I love my phone. I love what I can do. I love the instant answers that I can get.
Yeah.
But the problem is, the bad people can use this for all kinds of things.
They sure can.
Right? They can use it to convene groups of that are going to spread hate. They can use the technology to prey on children.
You can call out flash mobs in a matter of 20 minutes.
In seconds. That's right. Right. I mean, they can immobilize certain groups, very violent groups, very, very quickly. But it's not the technology that's inherently bad. Just the same as I said earlier about the religion.
It's the application.
Or designing
It's the application, right, of it. So the people designing the technology are going to have, and this is a two-edged sword, people designing the technology are going to have to understand that this technology can be used for nefarious purposes by bad people.
Right.
So then that leads to, then how are they going to control it? But then that leads to, if they're going to control it, how do we know the bad people are not going to control it?
Well, I was just going to say that, because you have the issue with, let's look at something like a hacker, or something like that. We have the hackers out there that are very adept at getting into any type of whether it be server or sending the scams out. I had it happen to my laptop actually just last week. I had the Microsoft pop-up come on my laptop. It locked everything up, telling me I had to call a number in order to unlock it, which I knew right away. Microsoft doesn't send this stuff out. It's a scam. And so there's absolutely no way I would phone that number, but I Googled the number for the heck of it. So the number came up as an American car. It was a car parts store in the U.S. Was the number, just out of heck. But anyway, usually you can get out. I couldn't get out of it. I had to take it to Trent from Tech Computers, a friend of ours out here in Short Park, and he had to clean it off and that kind of stuff. But it's those kind of guys, and they're always staying a step ahead. That are able to do whatever. They can get into phones now. They can get into computers now. The phone scams, etc. Right? So they're using technology in a way which obviously is a huge hindrance to the population, and especially the senior population.
The senior population,
that's huge, man. So many seniors have lost their bank accounts because of these guys, and doing exactly what popped up on my computer. Now, if you're not into technology and you're not a computer person,
you wouldn't know.
They probably
you'd have no idea.
Oh, I better phone that number.
Get on. You'd have no idea.
We're going to unlock your computer after you send me $5,000. And then we'll unlock the computer for you, right? And that's what you have to do. That's what we have to do.
So that's the trick, though. Technology needs to be controlled so that the bad people can't use it to their advantage. But the problem is the people controlling it.
Control it. That's the thing.
Well, it can be, but not without the detrimental effects.
But how can it be? How can legislation?
No.
How?
Dude, you have to put a password in to go to your Gmail. Okay. So the fact of the matter is, everything could be passworded down. Absolutely everything can be locked down. The problem is that infringes on the freedom of the people that really need to use it and should have access to it. So the conundrum is who do we give the keys to? Right? That's the problem, right? Like if you talk about China and the social credit system, they've given the keys to the government. Right? I mean, one discussion I want to have in the future, hopefully very soon in the future on the Podlie podcast, I want to have a discussion about universal basic income. Okay. And I'm only going to touch on this 1 second, and then we can move on. But if you look at all the jobs that AI is literally eliminating by hordes and streams like crazy, there's not going to be enough jobs for people to even, it doesn't matter who they are. So what's going to happen? How are they going to live? They're going to need a universal basic income, right? Which of course there's just there's so many issues with that.
Oh, that is such a buzzword now too.
Okay. So I'd love to have that discussion in the future, but the fact of the matter is, who's going to hold the keys to the control? Okay, if it's social credit or if it's universal basic income, it's the government that holds the keys. Do we want the government holding the keys?
Mhm. Yeah.
Do we want tech companies holding
Which
the keys?
government
Do we want Google
holding the key?
Google holding the keys? Do we want
Yeah.
Facebook holding the
Yeah.
keys?
Yeah.
This is the conundrum, and this is the conundrum of our age, and this is the challenge of our age right now. And frankly, what I see is nobody talking about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's considering it. We're all just going about our lives as though it's all hunky-dory and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Right? And that we're totally safe from falling off the edge of the flat earth because there's going to be geofencing there.
Yeah.
Right? But nobody is discussing this and nobody's actually taking an active interest in it.
And
So
what's funny is it's coming.
Yeah.
it's already here.
It's coming.
But
It's
I
here.
already-
It's here.
I do
It's
have
here.
to kind of step in and disagree with you a bit, though, Cliff. So I don't agree that technology is 100% secure. So
Right.
you can
I
can
agree.
password it, you can lock it down. It can still be hacked. It can still be figured out, no matter how secure the server is.
I agree.
Case in point, the Pentagon in the U.S. today had leaked secret documents leaked out on the internet.
Oh,
so
is that
how does
okay?
that happen
Right.
when supposedly you're fully secure, fully locked down, fully
Mm-hmm.
password protected?
Because
And
there's
it's still-
always
and
somebody
it's
stepping
still-
in one
Right, right.
Somehow
one
it
step
got
ahead
out
of
there.
you.
And I get your point, Bill. I really do. I get your point 100%. I guess more to my point was the fact that the people who are just going about their daily lives are going to be locked out and locked down to do exactly what the will of whoever is doing the locking,
True.
right? Whoever has the
That part
keys,
is
right?
true. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so that was more my point.
Yeah.
But I agree with you 100%. Those who wish to break the system will do so. The problem is the good people are too busy trying to earn a living, too busy trying to raise children, too busy trying to make the world a better place to be worried about all of this. And what happens is we comply. And the only people that say, I'm not going to comply and I'm going to break the system are the people that are doing it for reasons
Mhm.
that are not so honorable.
No.
Right. And those are the people who are leaking documents. And those are the people, mind you, leaking documents is not always a bad thing, but I'm just saying those are the people who are leaking documents. And those are the people who are scamming people for money and so on and so forth. Right.
Yeah.
So, but the good people, the quote unquote good people who are, I would consider the masses, let's say between the 10s and the 10%,
Yeah.
let's say the 80% in the middle, we're too busy trying to raise a family. We're too busy trying to live a life.
Amen.
Right. And what happens is somebody says, oh, you're locked down here, or you can't do this. And what do? We go, oh, damn it. But then we move on and we acquiesce
Mhm.
and we comply and we move on. I mean, that happened with everything. That happened with COVID vaccination.
Mhm.
I mean, you couldn't work if you didn't get a medical procedure.
Mhm.
Like you couldn't work if you didn't actually take chemicals that somebody wanted to put in your body. You couldn't work. That's control. That you cannot get more control than that.
Mhm.
Right? So, but what do? Well, I have to have a job. I have to go to work.
Mhm.
Right? Forget about the argument whether the vaccine works and all type of jazz. That's not in question right now.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is it was mandated that in order to work, you needed to do this.
Correct.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
guess what?
I got your point.
But guess what? Because we have to work, well, I have to earn a living.
Yep.
So whether I believed it was good or bad or whatever for me, if I wanted to work, I have to take it. And then they say, well, that's not curbing your freedoms. That's just consequence.
Mhm.
Well, no, but what about the consequence to me? If I don't do it, then I can't feed my family.
Right.
So control is all over.
Mhm.
But there has to be this line. We as a society, and I'm not talking just Canada, I'm talking to society as a whole. Somehow there needs to be an idea of where is the line being crossed, right? We want freedom, we want liberty, we want safety, and we want security.
Mhm.
There's a fine line between all of these things.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's enough discussion in the general populace as to where we draw these lines.
Mhm. Yeah. No, that part definitely makes sense for sure.
Yeah, but I agree with
For
you
sure.
100%, Bill.
Yeah. And by the way, just jumping back here. So Andrea says you guys are in the same room.
Hey,
And
Andrea.
Jeremy jumped in and said, CG's amazing. It looks like you're all in the same room.
Hey, nice to have you guys aboard. And
It ain't CG, dude. They would have made us a whole hell of a lot good looking.
yeah, and good evening and welcome to the almost end of the
End of
podcast.
William, computer in a Faraday cage, not hooked to the internet, is pretty secure. Well, that's a little bit different, William, for sure. Yes, you don't have outside access. Let's use that as a simplified term.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, if it's not on the network, right?
Yeah. Some people, Laura says some people couldn't work. Some jobs didn't mandate it.
Just about every job that I know of mandated it.
Yeah.
Because it was a government mandate, Laura.
It was a government
I
mandate,
would say
so
just about all of
I
them.
was going to say it's got to be at least 100%. If it was a company that didn't mandate it, then they obviously weren't following what
The
they
only
wanted to say at that point.
the only companies or industries that did not mandate them, I think, are grocery stores, because people got to eat. I can't think of another one.
James Kirk,
I can't think of another one.
Sorry, James G gives a thumbs up to William for his computer in a Faraday cage.
There you go. And Laura says, I think it is because people's lines are all different. You know, Laura, that's precisely my point. That is exactly 100% my point. And if we as a society had open discussions without all the political crap, all right, of the right and the left and all this type of stuff, if we in society were able to just have open,
sit down in a room and do that,
and just have a discussion like we're having right now, right? And nobody called you a racist because you said something, and nobody called you, whatever, a bigot, or nobody called you a right-wing nut or a left-wing nut, and all this crap that's out there. If we could just sit down and have a discussion, and you know what, we'll find out where our lines are. We'll find out what the lines of other people are, right? And I tell you what, compromise is definitely a possibility, but it's a huge, absolutely huge, gargantuan task. I mean, Herculean task. Yeah. Right. But the fact of the matter is we are not going through the process. We're not discussing it.
And is this something, though, say we went back 40 years ago, 40 years ago, could you have gotten people together to do this? And the reason I'm saying this is now we've moved into 2023 and we know what's happened over the past 10, 15 years. And we've talked about this on the show before. You have to be so careful what you say now.
That's right.
If I say to you, boy, you got a real tan there, Cliff. So did I just make a racist remark to you?
Well, see, the problem is, a year ago or 2 weeks ago, it might not have been. Yeah. But then if I decide, what the hell, man, you're being racist, man. So what now? Now it's not. Cliff has changed. It was okay with him before, but now he thinks it's racist. It's not that. It's that Bill just somehow became racist, even though he said the same thing. Yeah. Right? How does that work? That makes no sense to me. Yeah. So it's not you that changed. If you called me brown a week ago and I didn't take offense, now you call me brown today and I take offense of it. It's not you that's changed. Yeah. You never became a racist overnight.
Nope.
It's me that's changed, and all of a sudden I'm the dude saying, "Hey, you're a racist." Right. I think you got it backwards. Yeah. Right. So this is the problem: is that we can't have a discussion anymore because we don't even. Speaking about lines, we don't know where the lines are.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying 40 years ago, you could say a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
People they just brushed it off, right? So could you have that conversation 40 years ago? And nowadays, could you get that conversation having in a room without people getting offended and saying, well, I'm walking out because...
It's difficult now.
Yeah.
The problem is the flip side to that, though, is like 40 years ago, there were people that were not part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm using 40 years as an example, but let's say 100 years ago, there were people who were not allowed to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So that's the detriment of going back to history. And the fact of the matter is, with what we know now, with the so-called, I hate this word, tolerances that we have injected into our society, if now we decided as a society that we need to actually sit down and discuss and have a discussion, and we had town hall sort of meetings, let's say at a church basement, or let's say at a mosque basement, or at a temple, or a temple basement. I was just to harken back to earlier conversations about community. Let me tell you something. We'd find much more commonality than we ever would differences. I don't think there's a single solitary Christian person who wouldn't defend their kids to the death. I don't think there's a single solitary Islamic person who would not defend their kids to death.
Right.
I don't think there's a single atheist person out there who would not defend their children to the death. Tell you something. In the important things, we all have much more in common than we ever have against each other. You know?
Yeah.
So I think the conversation needs to happen. What I think is that we're not interested. We're much more interested in watching bloody memes. I've said this 1,000 times. Everybody knows I'm so... And then sometimes they say mean things about it. And I don't mean it to be mean. I mean it to be emphatic. I mean it to be a passionate comment to say
Put
that...
an exclamation point on it, baby.
To say that, if we're so busy watching TikToks and memes and reels, then we're distracted. We're not concentrating on that which matters most.
Yeah. And you are right, Marvin. Marvin has the comment, try finding like All in the Family. So Archie Bunker nowadays.
And what was wrong with Archie Bunker? Everybody says Archie Bunker was racist. Yeah, but nobody liked him. He wasn't the star of the show.
That's right. Yeah. Nobody liked him. That's exactly right.
And his counterpart, George Jefferson, he was a goddamn racist too. Yep. But guess what? Nobody liked him. Yeah. Nobody said, rah, rah, George Jefferson is it, or rah, rah, Archie Bunker is it. No, it was a show that demonstrated different viewpoints and how they are detrimental more than anything.
And
For-
it made people laugh.
And it made people laugh on top of that.
People weren't going out and protesting All in the Family.
No. Matter of fact, it brought to light the
Yeah.
racism that existed on both sides.
Correct.
I mean, Jefferson walk and go, hey, honky, right?
Yeah.
Tell you what, I mean, if that's not racist, I don't know what is. And same thing with Archie. I can't think of thing off the cuff, but then at least they portrayed it in terms where they weren't glorifying it.
No.
Right? But now people say, oh, I can't believe people are watching Archie. Why? It's a perfectly reasonable show.
Yeah. Good point on that one for sure.
If they glorified it, that'd be different.
Yeah. Laura, actual conversations is what you do, Cliff. You bring in the facts.
That's awesome, Laura.
Yeah. Cliff, the fact man.
The fact man.
There
I don't know
you
about that. I'm more passionate than factful, I'll tell you that. Yeah. Seriously.
There you go. So hey, yeah, that's and everything we've talked about, even religion, involves technology. So
well, of course, yeah.
So the whole we didn't touch on the topic that we entitled as the topic in the first half of the show, but in reality, when you look at it, the way that religion has spread, both in good and bad ways,
is via
no, baby, we tied it in. It's
via technology. Yeah,
we tied it in.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, I mean, the question, Bill, the actual comment is, is technology disrupting normal life? In so many ways, it is. In so many ways, it is, and in so many ways, it's doing it in a very negative fashion. Yeah. Right. And this is why I went on my little rant there about how we need to speak to each other. We need to talk to each other and not be distracted.
And not use devices.
And I got distracted by that. Right?
It's very interesting, and you guys touch on this, but I'm just going to put an exclamation on this. I was at Walmart yesterday for the first time ever at Walmart near my house. Normally, for the past, I want to say year and a half, there was mostly the self-checkouts, but you could go to one or two. You could go to one or two. Today, for the very first time, yesterday for the very first time, you didn't have a choice to go to one of the self-checkouts. There were absolutely no humans.
I actually just read an article this week that Walmart management is now looking at putting in more self-checkouts in all of their stores.
Correct.
So they don't need cashiers.
I beg people, man.
Correct. And that happened
go back
to me
on this
yesterday.
very podcast. On this very podcast, and I beg people not to use those things. The one in South Edmonton, it went from six self checkouts.
That's the one I was at, Cliff.
And 12 people checking out. It went the opposite, and then there were like 3 checkout peoples and like a dozen, self checkouts. Right,
Cliff, I was there yesterday. There was nobody. There was nobody. And my kids, my 10-year-old and my 9-year-old, knows there because they walk in front of me. They know they're not turning the self-checkout way. They're turning to the human way. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Jeremy says show up with a full cart and abandon them when you can't go to the till. Absolutely. And make sure lots of frozen foods in there.
Yep.
Yep.
What's that sense?
Yep. For sure. Leslie Ann, we'll get back to her comment. And then we're down to like about a minute and a half left. The distraction thing reminds me of the movie Free Jack. Ratings were king, and for the sole purpose to keep the masses occupied and not involved in the goings on in the world.
Boy, you remember that? Mick Jagger.
I'd forgotten about that movie, Leslie Ann. Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, that is precisely what is going on at this very moment.
Yeah. And you're right, Laura. I know in our Walmart out here, there's maybe 3 tills, 4 at the most now. So they've eliminated.
That drove me nuts yesterday, you guys.
Well, with self checkouts.
Wow.
But anyway, we're down
Saturday, guys.
Look at that, you guys. Hey, listen.
Time just went right by.
A rather spirited discussion that started out talking about religion because of the Easter. There you go. Because of the Easter weekend, we asked and wished each other happy Easter and whatnot, and that led to a little bit of a discussion on religion, which was rather fascinating. And then, of course, Bill's topic about electronics, about technology, etc. And listen, it's been a fun discussion, and this is the kind of discussion that I really, really, truly like on this podcast. I mean, it's great fun, great laugh, great everything, but at the same time, you touch on the stuff that matters most, which is what we're talking about. We need to speak about these things.
Yeah.
So I tell you, it's so awesome that you guys participate in this and have this discussion with us. And I speak on behalf of all 3 of us when I say, as usual, we really appreciate you showing up on Must Listen Mondays. So thank you for that. And if for whatever reason somebody's listening to this and missed it, They can hear it again, Bill.
You can hear it again, soundsugarradio.com, Friday nights at 10 o'clock, just the audio, or you can come back to our YouTube channel and watch it there. So
And
make
watch it
sure if
there.
you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the little notification button as well. Give us a thumbs up if you go back and watch the video, and get your friends to subscribe. Get people just to jump in and subscribe and join us.
That's right.
Each Monday night, 8 o'clock.
There you go.
All right, guys. Have a
Right.
great weekend. We'll be back with
I'll do this
episode
again.
148 next Monday. Love wins. There you go.
Stay happy.
All right, buddy.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week.